Tonight, we're talking about the future of education. And for those of us that are older than Gen Z, when it comes to studying, way back in the day, maybe we were lucky if we had a family member to help you out, somebody you can call, maybe a tutor. But for the younger generation, hearing the last name Khan instantly rings a bell, because Khan Academy is one of the most powerful study buddies ever built. It is a nonprofit that has changed so much of education as we know it today through their endless free learning videos, calculus to SAT prep, and now they're taking things to the next level. It is this new joint project called the Khan TED Institute, where college students can get a bachelor's degree in AI for less than you might spend on a used car. Now, Sal Khan, founder and CEO of Khan Academy, joins us tonight. Sal, I've followed your work for so long. You've gone from being the cousin in your family that everyone would turn to for tutoring to building this teaching system that has been used by millions all across the planet. I know this has always been a dream, this idea of a 4-year degree now made accessible as possible. But it's kind of ironic, or at least poetic, that the first one out of the gate is for an AI degree, right?
Yeah, this is something we've been thinking about for a very long time, even before generative AI became a big thing. Obviously, the cost of education was getting prohibitive for a lot of people. People started questioning the return on that. It wasn't accessible to a lot of folks. And then enters generative AI, and there's real uncertainty about what are the skills you need and the jobs. And so we realized that this is the time, if we're serious about our broader mission, which is to make education as accessible as possible, and that's not just the learning, but also access to opportunity, we should try to work with, first of all, employers to figure out what are those skills, how can we validate them, and then can we create high-scale, low-cost pathways that can actually prepare people those skills and give them opportunities.
Yeah, it's such a huge undertaking, and one that, you know, will have some meaningful impacts everywhere. And I know you've been a big advocate for educators all around, and you've said that this institution will complement traditional higher education, not replace it. But I got to tell you, just speaking for myself, like if I was graduating high school right now and I saw this and I saw the world of AI just developing around me, I might not have gone to NMSU. Like, I might have saved thousands of dollars of debt. Do you think that this could replace some of higher ed?
I think it depends what people are looking for. I do think there's going to be some folks who maybe want to do the straightest path into being an entrepreneur or getting into the workforce, and this might make sense for them. But my oldest son is 17. I'm expecting him to go to a traditional 4-year college. But even there, I'm not sure whether the skills he's going to learn are going to directly translate to work, especially in this AI world. So this might be a fun double major for him to do. And our goal is to actually make the whole degree, not just annual tuition, the whole degree well under $10,000. And we want to, this is a mission-driven, nonprofit focused venture, so that we want to make this as accessible to as many people as possible. So we see it, people who want to go straight and get their bachelor's, but also folks who want to do a second bachelor's, people like myself and yourself. I might do it myself to make sure that I develop those skills. And to be clear, the skills we're developing, so some of it will be the core academic skills that we're used to, the statistics, the history, the writing, the math. A lot of it will be developing the types of portfolios of work that people are going to have to do in an AI future, whether it's vibe coding or doing research analysis, even art with AI. But a big emphasis here is our skills that I think have always been super important, and I think will be even more important and durable in an AI world. And those are skills of communication, collaboration, listening, creativity. And we think that partially using AI, partially using peer-to-peer frameworks, we can not only give people practice with that, but actually create signals for that that employers and others will value.
And speaking of that, I mean, the curriculum, and I know that AI is just the beginning. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. But the curriculum here, like, is it sticky? Is it, if you're lacking some of the peer-to-peer stuff that you traditionally see, and I know that you have a way of addressing that, but, like, how do you make the knowledge stick?
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't think this program is going to be for everyone. When we talk to employers, And we've launched this initiative with some top corporations in the world, folks like Google, Microsoft, McKinsey, Bain, Accenture, Replit. What they say is they want people who know how to learn, who are independent learners, but also have these other skills. And so this program, some parts are going to be self-directed, leveraging Khan Academy. We have a sister nonprofit called schoolhouse.world, where we already have high school students who are using it to certify their knowledge, do peer-to-peer tutoring, and also do things like dialogues where you're paired with students who disagree with you on an important issue, and you learn to listen and give each other feedback. So we're imagining scaling that for adults, to college students and beyond, where even though it's an online program, you will be paired online into small groups on Zoom with students to do projects together, to give each other feedback on their communication, their collaboration, so that you really get as holistic of an experience as possible.
And I've had the privilege of seeing some of that working in some of the high schools that are using what you just described there, and it is pretty remarkable. Not to widen the scope too much here, but I have been wanting to ask you this for a very long time. And the question is, are you concerned about AI leading to some loss in how we think critically? Like, what does the future of education look like to you?
Yeah, I've sometimes been billed as an AI optimist, but I'm actually pretty worried on a whole bunch of dimensions. I think the place that I'm most worried actually is a lot of the economic dislocation that might be happening. We're already seeing self-driving cars, robotics, call center workers, software engineering is changing dramatically. It's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen, but there's a reasonable possibility that we start seeing mass layoffs in a lot of white collar work. So part of this is, one, to help bridge that. I don't think it's going to be us by ourselves, but if we can at least help people reskill and put them into new opportunities and scale that, that's going to help. And also, I think there's real risk, and it is happening. If you go to any college student, any college campus, kids are cheating with AI. They're doing the cognitive offloading, but it's not necessarily the AI that's doing it. It's the bad use cases of AI. So I think we have to clamp down on that. But there's other use cases of AI that can actually build critical thinking.
Yeah, a lot of potential, a lot of things to be concerned about all at the same time. Sal Khan, I just get a kick out of the idea of your son going to any university and then looking over and being like, oh, you're using Khan Academy over there, which is going to happen over and over again. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.